What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 6 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Count Noctilus Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, we have arrived at Sartosa and are looking to take Sartosa itself, although we have already taken 2 of their territories away from them. Actually, I don't recall whether Thantis Tor belonged to them, but I suppose it doesn't matter over much. Aranessa is not going to be happy about all this, at any rate, is what I'm getting at. In addition to that, we had a boarding crew focused episode as the boarding crew at last got to play around and show off a little bit, and fairly decently so at that as well, as they fought a very difficult battle, being outnumbered 2-1 and only lost 1 of the boarding crew number, currently replaced by the bloated corpse, but soon hopefully to be replaced back with another of the crew. And in terms of what we got to do this time around, well, we're looking to wipe out the Schmitz renegades out here and continue on through the territories of the World Walkers, and then do the same thing with Sartosa, essentially sacking and raising their territory to rack up the cash and infamy that we need to keep recruiting, or to keep researching, rather. We now have all 4 of the admirals, and as promised, I did end the turn between the episodes, and completed the recruitment for these guys. So now we have 6 Necrofex Colossi in Noctilus's army, as well as the rest of the Depth Guard as well. I don't know whether we're going to keep all 6 of the Necrofex. On the one hand, it feels like a little much, but on the other hand, they're not going to be as effective at killing tons and tons of units as artillery are, and here they're going to function something akin to artillery, and we simply replace the same exact number of artillery with the same exact number of Necrofex Colossi. So we'll see how it functions, and if it feels a little bit too strong, we'll take 2 out and replace them with something else. Anyway, let's see. We also got the Crab army now complete. Currently only 2 Rotting Leviathans, at least until we can get more built. It's just that we don't have capacity right now, because, let me just see here. Just to double check, yeah, we're still at 2 out of 2, so until the capacities are filled up, we'll just use regular Rotting Leviathans, or Rotting Prometheans to replace the Rotting Leviathans. But anyway, let's get started. Noctilus, we know exactly where you're going. You're going down to Sartosa, so let's see if we can't occupy this, or... Well, it looks like they got a full stack as well as whatever they got in here. Maybe we can besiege it and still get them to sally out and attack us. Who knows? Build some towers and a ramp, I guess. I'm almost tempted to say, don't actually, but I was hoping we could build more towers so that we could send the depth guard up there. But anyway, we'll give these guys a chance to sally out, so we won't attack them immediately. Besides, I think Sartosa is... yeah, it's a special location, and greatly increases the health of a settlement, walls, towers, etc., etc., means it will be a broken cinematic battle, i.e. we won't be able to have a cinematic battle, so I'd rather give them the chance to sally instead. Burke Black, you are going to head towards Lucchini, I suppose. Where else would you go? And then O'Bones McDonald, stay here. You're going to be leading our artillery army. I did choose O'Bones McDonald to lead this one with the Inspiring Vigor trait because it has that plus 50% ambush defense chance on this legendary admiral. And the way I figured it is if an army that's going to be made up pretty much entirely of artillery gets ambushed, that army is going to get destroyed. So we might as well get that anti-ambush chance. And I wonder if there's a further anti-ambush chance here somewhere. Most factions have one of some degree. Huh. Okay, there we go. We got only plus 10%? Oh, wow. That's terrible. That's not worth 3 points. That's nowhere near worth 3 points. They didn't think that one through. Even as critical as it is for those guys. But anyway. Airy and Stand, you're going to hit the San Luis territory and besiege it. And really, you're going to run? Really, dude? Okay. We can Pyrrhic Victory, and of course it'll kill off the bloated corpse, but... well, you know what? The problem with having these bloated corpses is that... oh, it came back. That's kind of funny. Is that they won't let us auto-resolve, so... yeah. Anyway, I think we'll raise the place. We're not looking to keep it or transfer it to anybody, so... yeah, just raise it for the infamy and the money. I guess we need both. And hey, campaign movement range and perfect vigor for area as well as headsman. Nice. I'll keep that. Hello, what do we have here? Death Singer, Sister Swords, 5% chance to gain a unique trait with both Doom Singer and Death Singer present in the same region, and this thing gives us regeneration. Go figure. Go figure. Now, I want to double check something here. Let me just see here. Does... I don't know, the spell of the Necromancer's Apprentice gives us recovery, not regeneration, so in theory, we could replace Noctilus's Executioner's Axe, though I do like the Sundering that it offers, with Deathsinger, giving him Frenzy, Deathblow, and Regeneration. He'll never get any use out of Deathblow, but Frenzy is nice in melee attack, even if it isn't anything crazy. It's about 10%, so it's about half of that, and Regeneration is definitely nice. Also, the weapon called Deathsinger feels kind of appropriate for a vampire count, wouldn't you say? Or, I think so. Anyway, Maddie, you, I guess, can stay here, eh? I mean, we could start sailing you out over here, see what happens.
That is forbidden.
You know, stay in Bafardo for the one turn, we'll just get you going Slaneshi-giggle elsewhere afterwards. Charles the Brine, go for the Remnants of Battle here, please, and grab that Hall of True Silver, and then march stance or full speed your way on to the next mysterious island. Next up, we got Two Toes. You take both your toes southward, as we will be wanting to move down to the long way around. I do want to, however, check if there's any islands worth grabbing nearby. And by the looks of it, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it. And ooh, what if there are not islands, but I wanted to see this territory. Okay, stop moving. Yeah, okay, it looks like there are no land. Oh, there's an island. Oh, of course. I clicked away from the frickin' long way around, and of course there's an island right beside it. Game. Anyway, I wanted to see if there was a landmark here in the Thieves' Coast / the Pirate Coast, but surprisingly not. So we are free to ignore it. I mean, certainly we could set up a Pirate Cove here, but it's a Slaneshi faction, and more likely than not, we could just trade with them instead, right? Probably the better way to do it. Get more money out of them than a single Pirate Cove. Otherwise, it looks like there isn't anything else to do this particular turn. There's no buildings to build since we did them last episode, so let's end the turn, and let's hope these guys sally out and try Count Noctilus's new blob of Necrofexes. Go. Yes, they did indeed decide to sally out, and boy, am I happy about that. This should be pretty darn fun. Before we get started, though, we did reach the engagement threshold, so this will be the longer hour-adjacent episode, and the engagement threshold remains 400 likes and 60 comments, and the next episode will be an hour long as well. Plus, if we maintain the streak through, I don't know, Saturday, I guess, I will do a double episode on either Saturday or Sunday. I haven't decided yet because it depends on time. I don't generally have time to do double episodes on the weekend, so it's gotta be a weekend, not a weekday type of thing, as I don't have time after work normally. But anyway, let's get the Lichbone Pendant on one of the Graveguard, I say, though it would also probably be nice on... Oh! Count Noctilus doesn't have magical attacks. That's a little concerning. We could actually give the Lichbone Pendant to him as well. Certainly something to think about. I'll keep it on one of the Graveguard for now, or the Depth Guard for now, but we will consider changing it up. I do like the massive speed increase that we get out of Strider on the Banner of Swiftness, but magical damage is a significant increase in damage against certain units, like, well, these Sirens, for example. Anyway, I wager this will be a pretty fun fight. Let's take Sartosa. Alrighty, here we go. New and improved piles of Necrofexes now lead our Depth Guard. Not yet directly into combat, as we'll fire away a few volleys at the enemy first, though unfortunately these guys aren't particularly accurate against certain things. We had all of them, every single one, target this mortar unit, this one, I want to say, mortar unit, and basically none of their shots really hit. hit, as their accuracy is pretty dismal at max range. As the enemy does get closer, their accuracy will increase and be able to do more damage, but they're not going to be particularly useful for artillery shootouts. So that's going to add a little bit of difficulty, and I think that'll be just fine. Alright, there we go, and firing away at some sirens. Gonna drop a few of those army-bound abilities as well, again into the sirens because we lack magical damage on most of our units. Otherwise, as the enemy closes the distance, we will close the distance as well. And our depth guard run pretty much as fast as the necrofexes do, and necrofexes of course fire while moving, and all together will charge on in. And there we go. With that, the battle is joined, at the very least, against the sort of leading elements of the enemy army. I do wonder what the Necrofex armor is at 95 with the little bit of extra armor from the Ultra Dudas. Not as highly armored as you would think, and we still have to be very careful about taking too many shots from the enemy handgunners, especially if they try to focus down a single unit like this, which has lost 25% of its HP. We also are heavily outnumbered here, which means we have to separate our units as much as possible and try to engage the enemy. As in try to run through melee units to engage range enemies instead so that they stop firing. Alrighty, and let's see, bounce power is looking to be in our favor at about 60%, though still a fair ways to go. Some handgunner volleys and hand cannon volleys by the looks of it, and do hit one of our necrofexes, and ooh, Noctilus is down to about half HP, and once again do suffer quite a bit of damage on these big old walking targets. Wind of Death comes in from Noctilus into the pile of enemies, and the textures. Why are the textures like this in this campaign? I have no idea. And on many maps too. We've seen some maps where the textures are completely unaffected, so I don't know what the deal is, but well, what can you do, I guess? At the very least, they're still pretty visible. They're just like, all of the textures aren't all one color, which sometimes in certain situations they are, but and the zombies are not affected at all. It's just specifically the necrofex, which is quite interesting. Oh well, we still get to see the glorious action of these guys firing point blank into the enemy and sort of skipping away. Oh, look at that splash damage. Beautiful. Alrighty, and the balance of power shifts to 100% in our favor as we simply overrun the enemy army. Noctilus will move to quickly run down the enemy lord as well, and yeah, the necrofexes do look a little bit silly when they run too quickly, but entertainingly so. And down goes the enemy lord, and with the enemy lord, the last of the enemy units disintegrate, and the battle is ours. Lovely. A little close victory, first debut battle for Noctilus. I'm sure we'll find plenty more difficult ones for him as we go. Alright, there we go. A really fun fight. I definitely enjoyed that, and watching the Necrofex Colossi and the Depth Guard go to work. And this time, with the artillery no longer taking the spotlight, we can see the Depth Guard rack up huge amounts of kills with the Deepest Depth Seekers by the looks of it, and an unnamed unit taking or doing the most damage out of them. I also want to point out that the Necrofex Colossi, being hybrid units, are not nearly as killy at range as artillery, or as the artillery that they've replaced. I don't think all 7 of them, counting Noctilus himself, do as much damage as Queen Bess by herself. So that will probably keep it a little bit more interesting for Noctilus in terms of his fights, as that definitely felt more difficult than other battles that we've had against similar numbers, with the artillery simply wiping the enemy all off the map before they get to us. Anyway, they have failed, and Sartosa is ours. We will obviously occupy it as we want to maintain the whatchamacallums, the landmarks therein. I think we only get one because, yeah, the second one and the third one are tier 4 and 5, and we will only capture it at tier 5, or tier 3 rather. All sea regions made visible to your faction. That's kind of interesting. I wonder if we can make some good use out of that. I guess we'll find out. Alrighty, garrison commander for Count Noctilus. I don't see him commanding any garrison, but the war banner we picked up is nice, and frankly, it's quite a solid thing to have on, well, potentially Noctilus himself, or any of the Necropex Colossi. Protection racket up and running to get that income from ports, which is nice, and hey, we've activated Profit, which is that character XP gain that we've been really wanting. Recruit the following type of unit: War Beast. What counts as a war beast for us? Scurvy dog, is that it? Is it anything other than scurvy dogs? Because we already recruited a bunch of crabs, so I don't know. Anyway, Trusty Montfort got himself a rotting Promethean mount, and Noctilus, you don't need the siren anymore. Well, actually, yeah, you don't need the siren anymore, do you? It's a waste now. Yeah, alright, so lose the siren and then gain the war banner. We'll pop it onto one of the necrofexes then. I mean, why not? A little bit of weapon strength damage and a little bit of melee damage as well. Though I doubt Noctilus will be moving too far ahead of the other necrofexes. It makes me think that maybe the banner of swiftness isn't as useful on him as the magic damage or something else, but anyway, we'll see. Speaking of Noctilus, or wait, Burke Black, you're gonna hit Lucchini, and I guess we'll raise it. We're not looking to really keep any of this stuff here. I'll resolve this. Basically no damage, and that's not unexpected. Raise the place, get that little bit of extra infamy for now. We're not going to bother with pirate coving up the place, because if we're looking to destroy Sartosa anyway, it's too close to us, let's say, to bother with the pirate coves. Noctilus, I guess the question for you is, do we actually want to move right now, or do we want to maybe quickly recruit stuff needed for O'Bones McDonald to be able to function on his own? I think maybe that's the better way to do it. Maddie, I'd like you to go out here and move towards top well, though I suppose Noctilus could do that as well. But if he recruits for the next couple of turns, then that doesn't necessarily need to be the case. So, let us do this. We will move you out here, Noctilus. Then, it's expensive. Okay, what about you? Set sail for a second. Go right outside Sartosa. And then Noctilus, frankly, I think the Altars of the Abyss might not be super useful to you. What do we have in terms of new lords available? Murderer would be nice for ghostly units. And that's pretty much it, so I'm not entirely sure about the murderer ones. Intriguant, Firestarter, Murderer, Firestarter, lots of murderers around, go figure. Murderer, Firestarter, Intriguant, Murderer, Firestarter, was that the same one? Oh, that was the same one. And we only have the one plunderer here, which is what I wanted. Or the deep might be nice for the ghostly units, but murderer would work as well. I take it that neither of you have a murderer in the lore of vampires, and we will need the ability to actually heal the ghostly army, probably by quite a lot. Although the lore of the deep would give us access to the fog of the damned, which kind of feels thematically appropriate for these guys. There is that to consider. Alright, you know what? Let's get Dickie Rains on recruited, I guess. You know, it doesn't have to necessarily be this turn. Let's do this. Let's go to technologies. Let's get the pirate code for Lord recruitment rate minus 75%. Then, O'Bones, you will take 2 necrofexes from Noctilus. Actually, no, keep all the necrofexes. Take all the depth guard for now. Actually, no, not this one because of the because of that. Let's do that. And then Noctilus, since you're gonna sit here and recruit for a little bit, let us go for. It takes 2 turns to get regular carronades. It's a little bit annoying, but what can you do? 2 carronades, 2 regular mortars, 2 necrofex colossi. You know what? That was all quite expensive. Let us move that out. activate the right of Curse of Eternal Service to get the recruitment cost reduction. Otherwise, we'll just end up never using this. We might as well use it now. Like so. Then we will go back to recruiting. Also, you can build a crow's nest while you're at it, because we want you to be able to build flyers, in theory. In practice, maybe not. I don't know. Let's get 2 carronades, 2 regular mortars, 2 Necrofex Colossi. What else would we want in here? In the artillery army, I mean. I guess we could get a couple of deck gunners, or maybe even 3 deck gunners in here. Just so that you're recruiting stuff. Yeah, maybe. Just taking a look here. Do you need any more Batwing Bombards or Wraithstorm Carronades? I do like the Batwing Bombards. They work nicely with Bessie. 3. I haven't really done a count. 1, 2. Okay, wait. We're gonna have to do a count. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Presuming you keep 2 of the Necrofexes. 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, we definitely have room for some deck gunners. They're artillery enough for our purposes. Actually, what does the game even classify them as, out of curiosity? Specialist missile infantry. Artillery enough. Let's get 1, 2, 3. We really... kind of tempted to get a couple more of the regular carronades for like anti-large and stuff purposes. Let's do 3 deck gunners and 4 regular carronades. We're not using too many of them elsewhere, and they're cheap. Yeah, let's do that. And oh, we only have room to build 1. How much space do you have in your... Oh, none. Oh. 2 deck gunners? No. Let's just do 4 deck gunners then. Screw it. And then if that's too many, we'll just delete one. It's not like they're super expensive to recruit right now, so may as well. Too bad we can't do Rotting Leviathans. I assume that we can't get Rotting Leviathans in the next couple of turns. Let me just see here. 3, and then you got 3 turns until that thing's up and running, so it'll be a bit of time. Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's also upgrade stuff while we're at it in terms of building. You, and we do have to be careful about our money, as well as the Dead Pirate Slayer here, and the swag sacks there as well. Alrighty. Oh, Bones, you just wait, and then I guess sitting in camp stance, it doesn't really matter. Oh, wow, you're gonna have 0 mana by the time you're done here. But it is what it is. Oh, Maddie leveled up. And I guess so did Count Noctilus. But you know what? Everybody's going to be leveling pretty quick with Prophet up and running, so we probably should separate that by, like, I don't know, a turn or 2. Leveling everybody, I mean. Bilbali, next place to be, and it's a walled settlement. We might actually have to fight this. Just go to it directly. You know what? This might be an idea. If we take Bilbali and we force Deathmaster Snitch to break their agreement, we might be able to get Deathmaster Snitch to turn upon these guys as well. Probably gonna have to fight this one manually. Yeah, that's alright. We'll do it in a sec. Let's see what else we gotta do this turn. And Trusty Montford, you can keep building that crow's nest, and... you can also start building the units that will be in that army, which is, okay, Trusty Montford, let's get you a couple of deck droppers with pistols, and then I guess we'll wait for the handgun variant for this particular army. 2 pistols, zombie pirate gunnery mobs, 2 pistols, deck droppers. It's going to be a mixed handgun and deck dropper type army. Yeah, alrighty, let's see what we got in terms of heroes specifically. We got Point Blank, Crack Shot, and Waterproof Pack. We got, what are you? Unswerving, Freebooter, Vampire Fleet Captain, Deep. Okay, that's great, but it doesn't answer the question as to what kind of hero we'll need. You know, I guess Point Blank might be a decent option for these guys because this is an all-ranged army, and... in the unlikely event that anybody, or in the very likely, that's the opposite, event that anybody gets to us, we'll need somebody to be able to defend them. And the melee defense bonus is probably helpful in keeping you alive, so let's do you. Connor Kelly. And our money's dropping even more. But what can you do? Treasury, or treasure. I keep forgetting to rename you, but anyway. Let's move you this way, and then Indiana Groans, you're kind of going up the coastline. In fact, land here. Maybe we'll do the, we'll do a pirate cove at Socotra. Eltharion. Now, he has a wonderful defeat trait that, frankly, we probably want on Count Noctilus, as it is army-wide missile resistance and the big fat targets that the Necrophax Colossi are probably mean that we should do it that way. Also, I landed the Treasure Hunter here, but now I'm thinking we're probably very close to Marienburg, and maybe we should get the Cove up and running in Marienburg instead. Actually, probably should have sent you out to sea. How close is Marienburg? Isn't it right here geographically? Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think it's down here. No, it's right here. Yeah, okay, it's right here. Oh, we're pretty close to it. Oh, we're gonna have to cross... we'll just cross by land. It's fine. It's fine. It'll cost us, what, like a second? Is this a mysterious island? Yes, indeed it is, so you can keep in march stance. Two-toe Zadley, you are gonna grab this mysterious island, or shipwreck rather, and then you're gonna head off on your merry way to wherever it is we're going. Explore the island, and decisive victory. Not gonna destroy anything? Doesn't look like it. Some heavy damage, though. A bit of a shame, but what can you do? Heal up, I guess, although... It's also not a lot of money, just heal up. Alright, and either way, okay, another siren, another materials at sea. Wow, the blessings of Stromfels have been bountiful in this particular campaign. You can get black powder overload, I guess, or... Wait. Let me just see here. I wonder if anything here would be beneficial. No, probably best to get Arsonist for the bonus damage from the Carronades and stuff, right? That's the way I figure it. These guys are going to be... Well, actually, these guys are going to be rank 7 soon, so maybe we actually go through Black Powder Overload first to try to get ensorcelled weapons up and running. Let's do that. You know, we'll level up the rest of them afterwards. Let's just head you through the long way around, as that's where you're headed off to. Set sail. Lovely. Who's up next? Isabella Ingle, you don't need to go anywhere, and I think that's everybody, unless we got building, which we don't, unless we got diplomacy, which we do. Harganath wants to, I was about to say Harganath wants to trade, but they are basically dead, so that's kind of unlikely. Ooh! Very near to defensive alliance with Scryer. We'd have to declare war on Scuttle, which is not going to happen. Fine, let's just do military access with them for now. Trying to get friendly with them. I want some Warplog Jezzails in some of our armies. Alright, I guess we're going to attack with this. So, Aerie, you're a pirate. Go for Bilbali. Alrighty, here we go. Just a small fight here, but we'll still have to work our way through the enemy units, and the Marauder champions in melee will still give us a fight. I'm sure the boarding crew will have to take a little bit of effort to work through those heavily armored Marauder champs. Their weapon strength is... They do have 30 armor-piercing weapon damage on their melee, so they're pretty solid, and of course we know that the boarding crew do get massively buffed if they lose sufficient HP. Anyway, we're going to start the battle off by knocking down the enemy gate with our various cannons. And too bad we can't fire directly through the gate, as we just don't have quite the accuracy. Anyway, with that destroyed, we will target the enemy wall here and make a breach. I'm going to speed that up while we do, and we'll move all of our units forward shortly as well. There are no enemy towers over here, which means we are safe from them, though the enemy did build a tier 3 piercing tower out here, which unfortunately we can't target with our artillery due to the sort of castle and whatnot blocking them. But, oh well, what can you do? It just means a little bit more work to sort of work our way through the enemy army in melee. And look at all those pistol shots miss. Alright, there we go. Time to enter the fray. Our Admiral will lead the Altar of the Abyss forward. As we know, the Altars of the Abyss look cool, and they look like they do splash damage, but they actually don't really do anything because their weapon strength is so small. But they are really tanky, which is quite nice, and they're mostly here to absorb hits and to support the boarding crew, which will be slicing their way through Marauder after Marauder. That's the plan anyway. We'll see how long it actually takes them to do it. So I take it the boarding crew isn't one of those units that attack in melee and fire off their range guns at the same time, despite being a hybrid unit. No, I wonder why some units do that and some units don't, because these guys clearly have their pistols, but they don't ever fire them. And I've definitely seen several different types of melee hybrid infantry that will still fire them off as they fight. Perhaps it's their nature as zombies and they just aren't capable of that. That requires too much, I don't know, too much skill or something. Anyway, looks like we're going to drop a Tomb Swarm down upon the enemy. Love having these army-bound abilities from Noctilus's Tier 5, I forget what it was called, the Tier 5 building that he has in his ship/fleet. I guess ship. Although it's a one-ship fleet, essentially. But anyway, let's see. What do we got here? The Mounts Power is at about 80%, 85%, maybe even 90% in our favor already. Though it does look like at least some of our zombie-powered boarding crew are taking damage. This one is nearly at half HP. And if it should take a little bit more damage, it'll suddenly get that big old melee defense buff. So the enemy haven't really worked so much through our HP. The boarding crew, together with the Ghost Helmsmen, still attempting to slice their way through the breach here, as opposed to the gate, though they're taking a fair bit of time to do it. The state of curiosity here. Ghost Helmsman, if I could find you in here. 0 kills on him so far, unfortunately. 292 damage. I guess they're having a difficult time making their way through. Their weapon strength being 60 is way, way too low, I think. If they were intended to be close to aspiring champions, they definitely don't fulfill that role. If they were intended to be more just a support unit, then they absolutely do. Though I think for their cost, they probably are way too expensive for what they do. Which isn't anything crazy. Basically, no damage whatsoever. I do like the frostbite application that they have on their range fire. But considering they don't apply any kills, or they don't get any kills, the fact that they cost like 360 upkeep per turn, they're one of the most expensive units we have on the roster. As expensive or more expensive than Depth Guard, but get no kills and only provide a missile aura to, or missile resistance aura to units. I think maybe the submod, the SFO submod, didn't quite match them to aspiring champions in terms of their stats. I also felt like their HP was a little bit too low, like, where was it? It was like 3,000 something. Not the boarding crew, but the Ghost Helmsman. Okay, I don't know what the max is, but it was 3,600 or something. It just feels a teensy bit low compared to the inflated values of SFO in general. And then the same goes for their weapon strength, both missile and melee. But we'll keep on using them, partly because they look different from our other units, so for a little bit of variety, and partly because I do like support units, and generally speaking, even if these guys are a little bit too expensive for what they do. Anyway, we finally made it through the breach. The Marauders are down, and well, at least the ones around there are down, and it only is now a matter of time until we slice our way through the enemy range units, whether it be the Skaven or the Marauder Hunters with Javelins. And that we're behind all the other Marauders. And we'll speed the matter up a little bit by dropping a Tomb Swarm upon them, which I believe does not hurt allies, so that'll do a number, especially on the fragile Skaven. And it looks like with these last couple of units broken, the enemy army will in fact shatter, and the battle will be ours. And take a little bit of working through the enemy here, but it worked out rather nicely. Alright, and okay, I thought I saw one of our units melting away, but it was just a summoned zombie. Alright, nice quick little fight, no problem at all. A little bit of damage on some of the units, and had a little bit of a difficult time with Harry actually fighting the enemy Lord, though I guess it does make some sense, although his items aren't actually too bad. He doesn't have anything in his melee fighty tree. I am tempted to take him off the crab, but we'll see. Anyway, for now, we're actually going to occupy the place as we intend to try and trade it to our ratty little friends, specifically you. How much is Bilbali worth to you? 69.7. Nothing crazy, but is it worth it enough to break alliance with the World Walkers? It is. Break trade agreement with World Walkers and... I'm gonna say Harbinger of Disaster as well. I don't know anything about Clan Scab, but Harbinger of Disaster will hate us because of the chaos aversion to undead and vice versa. Same with that. I seem pretty okay with this. They don't want to get into any kind of agreement with us, unfortunately, but that's not a big deal. Break military alliance with, that's fine. Break military access with World Walkers. Yeah, okay, so it only takes a little bit and we can still do the other agreements with them. Alright, so here's what we'll do then. You will not stay here, but instead you will sail. Though, wait, if you do, will you... You won't be able to get... Fine, stay here for one turn. And we will take the turn to build one of these, which will make it, which will make the settlement worth more before we trade it to the rats. Speaking of settlements, new settlements, let's take a look at Sartosa, which I didn't do, and okay, it did keep the ghost building army unit, or the unit army building. Yeah, you keep that. I think we'll delete the other 3 things, though, because we'll need to get various things here. We can't get these 2 yet, but we need walls, we need... walls for the fences, we'll need whatever other infrastructure things that we want to get there, so the rest of that will be fine. Alrighty, that's done, the buildings are done, and I do believe that's another end turn unless I'm mistaken. What building upgrades? Oh, right. You can build... You got the growth thing, right? Yes, you got the pirate growth thing. I guess you can grab the movement range thing. And this is not useful to you right now, sir, so let's not do anything there. You Noctis already building your thing. Oh, Bones, you cannot build anything. At least not this turn. Did I give you a siren? Yes. And Burke Black has a siren. Yes, and we get another one. It's 1, 2, 3, and then... Wait, no. 1, 2... Yeah, everybody has sirens now. Unless I'm mistaken. And if I am, it's too late because we're going to go to next turn. Let's get the... Yeah, let's get Dredge of the Sea. Could have reduced the recruitment cost somewhat on some stuff, but I'm not really willing to let Noctilus stay here more than a turn anyway, so let's just let him deal with what he's got going. Hero not moved, and end the turn, yes? Yes. Ooh, and while the turn was ending, I thought of something just for my peace of mind here. Oh, Warbeast thing complete. Just for my peace of mind, Fleet Engineer. We're going to move Charlie Wake, who... I can't remember who this is, but anyway, to Fleet Beastmaster for now, and O-Bones McDonald to Fleet Engineer. Doesn't make sense to have the Fleet Engineer be the one that's going to command our artillery army. I think it makes sense. Alright, lovely. One more turn for Noctilus sitting there. For now, though, we'll build the palisades and keep an eye on our cache, such as it is. Yeah, build the haunted hovels, definitely go for the plunder pile, and then... You know, I think rather than the port thing, we're actually going to go for the pirate gallows in order to increase the growth rate of Sartosa as much as possible. Because we need to get it up to tier 4 and 5 to get the landmarks therein. Technology, I guess here we'll want to maybe go for the Necropex cost reduction. We have a decent amount of them now. Ooh, raise the masses though. Growth per region is also quite nice. Well, we'll do the money thing first since we're running out of cash, and then we'll do growth per region afterwards. Both have quite a lot of value. There's still a lot of stuff, generally speaking, that we'll want to get, but anyway, that's good for now. You two just sit here and wait. You can build the pirate crew growth thing. And, oh, actually, Noctilus, you no longer need pirate crew growth. Oh, right, we already deleted that. Never mind. Build the lookout cradle, then. And Burke Black, you can go to Mintopa, and I guess Maddie... Well, I guess the question is, do we need her here, or do we want to maybe send her in? Well, I guess she can't reach this place, Al Dente. Wondering whether we should send her out there. Just go out here. Ah, hello, island. Let's go for the island then. Okay, let's not go for the island. We'll go for the island next turn. And then you can maybe have your debut battle against the forces at Mintopa.
That is forbidden.
We got a decent army, and that'll be the Crab's debut battle. Alright, so we'll do that in a second. Let's see what else we gotta do this turn before we move, though. Ariane stands. So you've got Bilbali now. And we can either land at Barboza or ignore it. Not that it really matters over much. What we want to do here is this. So you're going to set sail either way. I guess you're just going to go right close to Barboza. And let's try that again with Deathmaster Snitch. So, Snitchy, I would like you to... We will trade you Bilbali, which is now worth quite a bit more. We will go for Break Non-Aggression Pact with Harbinger of Disaster, and... How much do we care about these guys? I don't know. Let's just do that. Then we'll go Break Trade Agreement with World Walkers and Harbinger of Disaster. We will go for Break Military Access with World Walkers, Break Defensive Alliance with World Walkers, and Break Military Alliance with nobody. Give us all your money. Give us your trade agreement. Do we really want to make agreements with them? I'm honestly not entirely sure, but let's do it for now. We'll see. They're not super liked by Rakarth, but it is partly because they're probably friendly with the World Walkers, and declaring war on them and fighting them may be a decent idea. I'm almost tempted to declare war on the Harbinger of Disaster and force them to fight each other as well, which could be pretty amusing. Although it... Maybe that's a better way to do it. But not draw Rakarth in so that they can't go down and take his territory. Let Rakarth clean up the World Walkers while Leshen works on Harbinger of Disaster. Let's see if that works out. Alright. How many territories do you even have? Just the one, eh? Well, that should make it hopefully easy for the rats to deal with you. You are currently allied with Eshin and Scab. Ooh. Here's what I wonder. I don't even know where Scab is. Let me just see Scryer for a second. They don't like our treaties with Clan Scuttle or Clan Carrion, but I don't think we care about either. How friendly are they with everybody else around? World Walkers they don't care for. How does Eshin feel about them, I wonder? Okay, whatever, doesn't matter. Malagor, we're still declaring war on you. We can't keep him here. We don't trust chaos. Don't call our allies to help for this one. Like so. Then we'll talk to Eshin. We have no intention of actually fighting these guys. We're just causing a little chaos. Bilbali. Trade. Then again, break non-aggression pact with Harbinger of Disaster. Ignore the rest. Break trade agreement with Harbinger and World Walkers. Break military access with World Walkers, break defensive alliance with World Walkers, and there is no military alliance. Join war against Harbinger of Disaster and World Walkers. Then do the agreements with us and give us all your money. And having broken the agreements, if we trade them a settlement, we might be able to get them to... yeah, there we go, moving up to 84 now, and moving up to friendliness with Rakarth. Yes, good. Alright, that worked out reasonably well. The Rapturous Excess don't like them too much, but whatever. If we can get Rakarth and Eshin to hold all this, and then Scryer to hold all this, our territories will be safe without us having to essentially police them constantly, which would be just great. Can't trade with anybody, unfortunately. We can't do anything here, which means back to whatever it was we were doing. So, back moving through these guys. Trusty Montford, you are waiting to save up, so you're fine as you are. We've got... 1 second here. We've got 1 turn until you're back, meaning we need to complete your army. And the army will be complete via deck droppers with handgunners. 1, 2, 3, I'm gonna say 4. And then that's the army, assuming we probably should have at least 1 vampire fleet captain. And that's you, right? Unswerving freebooter. Here's the issue. We need at least 2 gunnery whites in every one of these armies, so I guess only 3 of the handgun flyers. which isn't as much as I'd like, but it's fine. 5 isn't too bad. Alright, I believe that's it. Alright, next we will want to go for gunnery whites, and we got another point blank. Perfect. Alright, let's do point blank. And then your point blank as well. Yes, yes, and then both of you can... Huh, you just started at rank 4 and you started at rank 1. Go figure. Yeah, that'll be the complete army for that new lord, and speaking of new lords... We will get the Vampire Fleet Admiral, the Murderer of the Deep's lore, with the physical resistance to make the Sirens even resistilier. Yeah, we got oh no, it wasn't Smuggler we were looking for, it was Plunderer. But anyway, Murderer, Deeps, yes. Alright, and then you stay here. You're gonna take some stuff. Frankly, you will probably take the Altar of the Deeps. Yeah, take the Altar of the Deeps. For now. Alright, we'll figure the rest of that out later. Who's up next? Two Toes Adley can't move, Charles the Brine can, however, and Liz going to grab this little mysterious island. Fortified Grog, Mathland's Blessing. Do we have any other islands nearby that you were... Ah, there's an island in there. Alright, so I guess we're going back in. Lanashi Giggle. And trying to look for islands in there. Alright, that's Charles. That's his job. Burke Black. Is it time, or does anybody else need to move? Bones is stuck. Let's move the heroes and then we'll fight. Connor, you'll join the army shortly. Isabella will as well. Indiana groans. You will set up a pirate cove immediately for 3.7k. Although, you know what? I just realized if we attack Eltharion the Grim with Noctilus in 1, probably 3 turns, he could just set up a cove here anyway. Which would be a waste then. Of quite a bit of money. You know what? Stay here, land just in case, because I want you to keep an eye on Eltharion in case he moves somewhere else, because we want his defeat rate. You, however, will continue moving down here and towards Marienburg, which is... there it is. The heck? Oh, huh. They separated Marienburg into 4 different settlements. That's kind of interesting. And funnily enough, the actual Marienburg settlement is making very little cash despite the presence of the Marienburg port. Probably due to the horrific public order that it's got there. It's still kind of interesting, though. Well, either way. We are good to go with you, and then I believe that's it on this building, which there isn't much of. So, let's do Horde of Booty, Barricade of Debris, Gauntlet will upgrade you to tier 4, and that's all we got. Alrighty. Let's do Crab Rush Battle after we level.
Yes, master.
You have Rotten Death maxed out. Soul Blight is probably the other critical thing that we want. Although, well, actually, no, we want to max out Spirit Leech. Let's max out Spirit Leech. You guys, that'll probably be a bit before you can get your crabs, but let's get the Invocation of Nehek. I guess Spiteful Shot, just so we can go towards Fog of the Damned and whatnot. You guys can have Cackle Fruit, and that's all we got, and you as well. And there we are. Alright. Been waiting for this. Ooh, wait, just to double check. Noctilus, you can't get the crabs up and running now, can you? The Rotting Leviathans, I mean? Nope, still 2. He'll get there. Hopefully El Hawkins doesn't try to run from the crabs. I'll be annoyed if she does. Nope, she does not. Beautiful. Oh, yes. Yes, Crab Rush is here. Alrighty, here we go at last, what we've all been waiting for, the big old Crab Rush army, which should be pretty darn fun. We do want more of those Rotting Leviathans to lead the crabs, but it's already looking pretty darn good. I love it. They're really fun units, and the units of Promethean gunnery mobs are quite nice in particular as well. We'll see how they do here. That is still a lot of enemies, however, and we will still be vulnerable to range fire from things like handgunners with all that armor piercing they have, so we do still have to be reasonably careful. Also, not our entire army is yet on Crabback because our heroes... Our lord is on Crabback, but our heroes are still on foot, and it looks bizarre to have them running alongside the crabs because they look so tiny by comparison now. But that's alright, it's just a matter of time until they get their appropriate mounts. Man, gotta be hard to aim when you're swaying back and forth like this, and not so bad compared to Serena Katrin, though. I remember in that campaign, the Frostworm is sitting on the back of that Frostworm with, it's just impossible. It feels like it's impossible to keep your balance, much less cast spells or aim at anything. But anyway, continuing to make our way forward, the crabs are still rather slow at only 45 movement speed, though I did see a plus 15 movement speed technology available in the tech tree, so perhaps we'll focus that just to make the crabs move a little faster. They are just about to reach combat, and it looks like, or they reach the enemy line, and it looks like the Rotting Leviathan will lead from the front. And engage some of the enemy range units. The other crabs charge on in, and there we go. Just a matter of distracting all the enemy range units, or as many as we can, so that they don't fire upon us. And let's chuck a bomb or a cackle fruit at the enemy, and relatively central to one of the enemy blobs of units. And the battle is joined. Everybody is engaged and attempting not to get pincered apart by the crabs. And ooh, I do see that handgunner has found a decent position and is firing down upon us. And we'll have to deal with that. Fortunately, we did send a bunch more crabs on the right flank as well to distract everybody and hopefully to get rid of those units that are firing upon us with seeming impunity. And look at all those zombos get sent flying. Of course, a bunch of them will get back up, as it does take a while for the crabs to work their way through stuff. They're more of a defensive unit rather than a damage dealer unit. But that's what the Rotting Leviathans are here for, and I'm sure they'll do the damage, and then the Rotting Promethean gunnery mobs with their hand cannons as well. And yes, this is the hand gunner unit that has been firing away at us, and by the looks of it, the unit that it's been firing at is the one that's taken the most damage. These guys are down by about 30% of their HP. The balance of power is only about 55% in our favor so far, as once again it is taking time to work through the enemy. And we're not really casting anything in order to speed the matter up. I just wanted to enjoy the crab rush rather than destroy everything with spells. Alrighty, and the bounce power has crept slightly more in our favor now at about 65%, though the unit that was getting fired upon is down to about half HP now, and we're going to have to keep it healed up lest it start melting away. I do believe it's only lost 1 or 2 units so far, even if it is heavily damaged. So it's just a matter of healing it back up, and by the looks of it, actually several of the units of Rotting Prometheans are now heavily damaged and down to about half HP. But the crab theme continues. Not much to say about this battle, tactically speaking, at this point, as there isn't any fancy flanking or anything like that. We've tied up the enemy, and now it's just a matter of slowly grinding them down. Alright, maybe not so slowly to anything that's beneath those Rotting Leviathans, though. As it does look like they're crushing many a zombie. And 90 kills, 10,000 damage, not so bad. I'd wager probably about even with the Rotting Prometheans here, at least in terms of damage, if not in terms of kill count. But I suppose that the alpha strike of the Revile of the Leviathan is high enough damage. It means that they will get more kills faster, even if the damage is about the same. Alright, and finally the unit of enemy handgunners have decided to use that Face of Death ability and summon zombies on top of them, just so that they are tied up and unable to fire at us. And on top of that, we do have one last card we can play here. And I forgot the name of the ability, something of Aminar? Wrath of Aminar, perhaps? And there we go. Bunch of vortexes appear in the center of the map, and it does look like they do not hurt our own troops. I don't know how much damage they deal to the enemy, but they did help clear out what remained of the enemy's central line, even though the enemy had begun to shatter, and just as we popped it. And there we go. It looks like with that, the crabs will win their first victory. Of course, we will have various crabs in other sort of armies, but this is the only one that will have them in such ridiculous numbers. Necessary? Yes. Alrighty, and there we go. The last of the units will melt away, and it is, of course, that unit of handgunners which took so long to deal with, but the zombies kept it distracted. And it is nice for that handgunner unit to show off a little bit and deal heavy damage to at least one of our unit of crabs. But yeah, lots and lots of the crab units got down to about half HP, and I take it they don't have a crazy buff like the boarding crew do to increase their prowess. Anyway, close victory for us due to the damage delta, but we will be pretty much at full HP, or at least close to it, after the battle, because most of our units survived, even if they took a lot of HP damage. Ah, there we go. There's just so much joy to be found of rushing your enemy with a giant pile of undead crab monsters. It's fantastic. And let's see, damage-wise, well, it looks like the gunnery mobs, generally speaking, outdid the regular rotting Prometheans, but that's hardly surprising, as the latter is the same as the former, but with guys with guns riding them, so yeah, they're gonna do more damage, and go figure. The rotting Leviathans also did quite well, and are awaiting adding a couple of more in the army. We're gonna raise this place as well in the same way that we did the rest, no need for enemies to be able to land, and Burke Black, you will heal up nicely, so encamp, and get ready to hit what other territories are nearby. Good. I believe that's all we had to do this turn, unless I'm mistaken, and if I am, well, it's too late to be unmistaken, because we're gonna end the turn. Skip, skip, skip. Lower down moved, and I did check the... Enemy miscast base chance plus 10 weapons strength. That's not bad, damned cannibal. It's a kind of like Infamous Monstrosity better. I think maybe we'll get you on field as well. 30 seconds of an increase of damage versus a permanent 25% weapon strength. A little bit of melee damage reflection versus... we don't really care about the sacking settlements thing all that much. But the enemy miscast base chance increase. If we get like 4 damned cannibals, you know what? I kind of like this idea. Let's get a bunch of damned cannibals, and let's say we get 4 of them in our ghost army, ghosts and more, with sirens and Morghuls, whatever. With 4 of them, that's a 40% miscast base chance. Considering the ghosts are vulnerable to magic, that kind of makes sense to me. Yeah. All right, that's decided. End turn. Oh, what are the odds of that? The 1,000 Moths will declare war upon Eschen, and, well, whatever, that's the 1,000 Moths business. We will back them, because I'd rather back them than Eschen. Oh well, we've also got Eschen into a bunch of other wars, so whatever, it's their problem. Alright, Charlie Wake is up and running and will be awoken pretty much immediately. Let's also raise the masses immediately for that growth per region. And ooh, I do notice that infamy is climbing now that we're raising stuff, though our money is unfortunately dropping. But what can you do? Charlie Wake, that's you. You are going to get on field right now, Plunderer. Fleet Beastmaster only temporarily, mind you. You will get 1... Vampire Fleet Captain, like so, and then both of these. Gunnery Whites, as well as the rest of this army, maxing you out and getting you ready to move. next turn. Set up in camp stance to also get your Root Marcher, Inspiring Presence, and definitely Reanimated Marksman. If the army is too weak, what we'll do is we'll replace the 2 zombie gunnery mobs with a couple of rotting Promethean gunnery mobs, just because, I mean, if this army gets rushed, there's nothing it can do, really. So, you just gotta make sure that it at least survives. We don't have a lot in the way of artillery, but we do have the flyers, which means we can buff them up by getting Haunting Horror as well. Nah, do it. And, well, we have the base version of Invocation of Nahek. Let's get a Vasti then, and we'll use the Vampire Fleet Captain to cast the base magics. At least we have Spiteful Shot and Fog of the Damned. You can grab All Hands Fire, Cackle Fruit, and let's go with Enchanted Ballistics. Lovely. Alright, Charlie Wake, you can get ready to move. I assume that our reliability is still fine because we went into the war together with our allies, so that's fine as it is. Scryer still not looking to get that defensive agreement up and running, but they do like that war with Eshin now, so you know what? That's fine. Parts of Sartosa want peace, go figure, but we're not really interested. And Noctilus, you are done recruiting. So wait, let me just see if I got this right. So first of all, Rob Coughlin, get into Cat Sharp's army, please. Like so, and you know what, let's check this while we're here. You can have Swift Haunt, Ambush Success Chance. Yeah, we'll leave those as they are. And we can't get any more of these. Alright, so. Bones and Noctilus, you will swap out 2 Necrofex Colossi like this. Give Noctilus back all of his Depth Guard and both of his Altars of the Abyss. Take the cannons and the deck gunners. And like so. Alright, that leaves you room for presumably 2 more gunnery whites, which will complete the army. I'm gonna hope that the Necrofex Colossi are enough. Also, you know what? We just recruited a bunch of stuff over the last 2 turns/episodes. Let's do some naming, shall we? Let's start with mortars. We've had names for mortars since the very beginning. I just haven't built any yet. Chum buckets. And the reason I hadn't built basic mortars to start was because I wanted to try the Batwing Bombards instead. The Rusty Buckets. Alright, for you 2, and then a regular Carronade name. Did I not add this one already? I guess I didn't. Alright. Davy Jones Doorbell. I meant to when I built the regular Carronades in the other army, but apparently not. Let's name some crabs. A Rotting Leviathan, we'll start with you. We'll go for Scuttlefish, fantastic name. And it works on so many levels. And let's do Leon the Lobster. We got lots of Rotting Leviathan names as well, but for now we'll be keeping those as they are. Just out of curiosity, are you now able to build more Rotting Leviathans? Do we have capacity? No, still no capacity for them. Well, that's just fine. Well, it's not fine, but it is what it is. Alright, let's name some of the regular crabs. Surf, 1R. Surf and Turf. And Deathly Hermits for you. Promethean Gunnery Mobs. Let's do Barrett's Privateers. Like so, and okay, well, we got some new armies. Which one will definitely be keeping the hand cannons? I guess you're gonna be keeping hand cannons, I think. Yeah, alright. Let's do you. Old Guard. And Middle Guard, like so. They're mostly here to slow the enemy down with Stagger Shot for the rest of this army, which in combination will hopefully prevent this little army from being rushed. But we'll see, since we don't have the artillery to rely upon in terms of destroying the enemy, as we normally do. Deck guns in the artillery army, which are here. Let's name one of you. Wailing Whalers, and you know what, let's do some Necrofexes. We have a billion names for Necrofexes, so it feels like we should probably do some. And we do have 2 Necrofexes in here, so I think it makes sense to make you the Black Pearl, and then you Damn it. Queen Anne's Revenge. There we go. Both on theme, and it makes sense for them to be together. We have the Walking Dutchman already from the very beginning, but the rest will be Zombies Ate My Ship. Great name as well. Icon of the Seas. Old Ironsides. And Memento Mori. Alright, I think that's good enough for now. We did a bunch. And I didn't do any last episode. Anyway, Noctilus, since you're not recruiting this turn, and Eltharian's moving southward. Well, that's a little bit annoying. I really don't want to chase him around when we got pieces of 8, but ooh, hello. Beatrice Coates. Let's move towards her. Wait. Maddie, grab this island, Arabian Arms. Move towards Beatrice Coates. And hopefully Beatrice won't run and will instead attempt to fight Maddie. I'd like to go after this guy, see how the crabs handle you, but we'll get there anyway. Anyway, Noctilus, I would like that defeat rate, so we'll see if we can actually get there or not. And I guess see where Eltharian is gonna go. Hopefully he'll just return back to Socotra. Ooh, maybe if we declare war on him, he will try to go there, assuming that he can see that Maddie is nearby. We'll do that. Oh, he's fighting with the bloody hands, but they're up there, so why would you move towards us? Alright, we'll see if we can find him. Although, on the other hand, he might be so terrified of... He might be so terrified of Noctilus that he'd actually try to run away from him. Darn, I'm not sure. Anyway, Airy, I was going to say raise Barboza, but there's so many rats nearby that now this might not be the best idea. Instead, move down here. I think there's a piece of 8 down here, and then plus there's the Silent Isle, our next pirate fortress on the menu. So, yeah. Let's double check where those pieces of 8 are, though. Ooh, and it's Sloppy Crookshank, huh? I guess we'll be fighting Skaven no matter what. And ooh, also that reminds me, we should be very close to this place. It's right here. Okay, so first of all, I guess you're gonna set up a pirate cove. Start up in Elftown. We can just set up pirate coves in all of these. Oh wow, 5k. That's expensive, but it is worth the, it is worth it. Because hero capacity is something that we need. Alright, and then you can build all the hero capacity, at least for now. Later on, we will change probably most of those to income generation, but that'll be once we have a ton of pirate fortresses up and running everywhere, most like. Trusty Montford, you're fine as you are for now. I think we will just keep you here recruiting. At least one more army, the Flying Army, namely. Charles the Brine, you know where you're going. Two Toes Adley is still on the way to where she needs to be. Burke Black, you're going to real quick attack. Al Dente, I guess, or Capelli? Which one? Does it matter? Doesn't really matter. Go for Capelli first.
Yes.
Mostly because if Noxus wants to, he could land at Al Dente. And auto-resolve this. More damage to the crabs in the actual fight, and we will raise the place. Alright, and Unliving Ship's Cook, casualty or punishment rate plus 2%. Alright, fine, keep that. Not too bad, and then go back into encamp. Yeah, we're going to basically raise Sartosa to the ground since we've decided to make them our enemies, so it is what it is. Bones, you're actually good to move now, minus the need for the ballistics calibration type gunnery whites, but we don't have any more. We'll have to keep an eye on them, though. Also, you can switch to expansion and build the crow's nest as well, but despite the fact that you don't have everything you want, Bones, I think you can still move. So, march stand south, you're going to Porto Maggiore, and Catch Sharp, you're going to stay here, at least for now. We'll have you recruit your own army for yourself in a little bit. We have 8 more turns of Curse of Eternal Service. And we'll take advantage of that to build the units, the Sirens and the Mourngulls in this army. But not right now, because we're losing gold per turn, and we need to fix that a little bit. Although, I'm not actually sure we physically can fix it anymore, since we haven't taken any more territory. Meaning we won't be making any more cash right now, but it is, once again, what it is. We'll just have to do it the other way. Yeah, you know what, let's not upgrade the final levels of this because it's just too expensive right now as it is. And I was originally tempted to say we send Charlie Wake southward towards the oil rigs, but maybe we send her north instead and go up here and then sail to Albion. We need the territory of Albion to get more money going, or else we won't be able to afford the armies that we have. So, Ari, you and Charlie will head up there together. Although we might need to raise a few more territories out here, depending on how well Rakarth does against the... Oh, Rakarth, what are you doing, dude? You're gonna get wrecked here. It's a waste of a mammoth and a Medusa. At least he still has his main stack. Is that the only stack he has? He does have another one sort of here. Not enough armies, though. Might need to send somebody to help him out for a bit. Garrison Lord and assign skill points, and I believe we're ready to end the turn, unless I'm mistaken. Did we move all the heroes other than Treasure? Yes, let's move Treasure. Treasure, stay around. Wait, you can level up by scouting ruins, can't you? Yeah, we should do that for a little bit. Pay attention to what's going on here and get some free levels out of it. You got 8 turns until you can make a cove anyway. Alright, looks like nobody decided to attack us this turn. Their loss. Growth per turn +5 after winning a battle. We've got, in battle, defeat somebody from Khemri or Defenders of the Great Plan. I don't see that happening, but who knows. Possible, I guess. Let's see what next tech we want to get up and running. Enemy hero action success chance. I do like the character experience gain, and... both of these, in fact, give us that, but let's see if there's anything super critical here. I suppose we have everything that's super critical, but reasonably critical. Well, you know what? We got an artillery army now, so let's get the +20% missile strength increase to all artillery units. I think it's about time. And we should probably get the 20% weapon strength increase to the melee units as well. And we can get a few of the military things, rather than just going for non-military things. And now, these guys moved in immediately to grab this for themselves. That's kind of funny. Maybe we should just destroy them just because we can. Anyway, what is Eltharion doing? Did he move down here? He did. And I really don't want to be chasing him around with Noctilus. Also, Maddie, go after this, though. Is this even worth fighting? I mean, I'd fight it. Let's see if they'd fight it. Will you run? And they will not run, despite the close victory, low casualties. I think it'll still be fun. The zombie-powered gunnery mob bombers are still very much in danger from anything that these guys can do, so why not? Hey, and as we can see on this bright map, the Gallows Giants texture is not broken at all, and it is indeed the dark maps that are all screwy. And go figure. And you can see all the sort of scorched corpse details on the necrophags here quite nicely. Anyway, here we go. We face off against Sartosan Vampire Coast once more, and I know that there's been a fair bit of a like-on-like as we face off against another Vampire Coast faction, but like I've said, enemy Vampire Coast is actually, funnily enough, one of the most dangerous factions for us to play against. Because they can help counter a lot of our stuff and do high damage. Alrighty, and it looks like we try to move forward with the Assault Lord Scuttlers, but they do take a volley from the enemy deck droppers here, who will attempt to give chase to them, but that's alright. We are trying to just move forward in order to dish out as much damage as possible to whatever isolated units there are. Gallows Giant will burninate a few of those poor doggos, but will of course take a few volleys from the enemy range units as it does. And it looks like the doggos want to ignore the giant with the flamethrower and instead go for the much more easily digestible crab, which, you know, fair enough. But as to the degree that's actually going to help, I'm not entirely sure. And of course, this is sort of sallying out ahead of our army while our army awaits the arrival of the main enemy force, and we continue bombarding the enemy with our Wraithstorm carronades. Looks like this unit of the deck droppers is just about done. And we're going to back up both the Gallows Giant, which has reached half HP at this point, as well as our Lord, while we wait for the arrival of the main enemy force, which is just about ready to reach the range. Which means if their handgunners are in range, our much shorter range bombers and corpse gas spewers will have to move towards the enemy to actually get into combat. That does mean we'll probably suffer a fair bit of damage while we do. A nice tight call and volley into one of our units of Zombo bombers there. And there we go. Here come the animated hulks. We're going to use the corpse gas spears to hit said hulks right through our own unit of zombie-powered gunnery mobs, which will pretty much get destroyed by it, but so will the enemies. So that works out reasonably well for us. And it's definitely part of the plan for this particular army. Now just a matter of exchanging fire and corpse gas between the two armies here. Ooh, nice volley of bombs into that zombie pirate gunnery mob from both above and below as well. And that unit is pretty much done. The cannons have switched fire, or at least are doing their best to switch fire to attack the animated hulks, because obviously the bombs aren't going to be too effective against them. And the Gallows Giant is just hanging back since it lost about half of its HP, so no need to get stuck in directly into melee, even though it could distract enemies. Alright, nice volley from the corpse gas spewers and bombers combining as they delete another enemy unit, and by the looks of it only a couple of enemy units remain, and the battle is just about ours. Bounce power at about 85% in our favor. And we just need to show the AI that it has no longer any hope. There we go. I do really love watching those corpse gas spewers work with the sort of... I guess they use is it Black Dragon Breath animation? Seems like it. And there we are. It looks like with that the enemy army is suffered way too many losses and is beginning to crumble away. The last of the enemy units remaining on field are the enemy admiral and captain, both of which will drown in firing corpse gas. There we go, down goes the admiral, and we switch briefly to the enemy captain as well. Let's see, what is your speed at? 14 speed by a combination of the various things. Okay, couldn't quite see which things, but the last of the enemies does get brought down, and the battle is ours. A lovely little fight. That was pretty fun, though we did take quite a lot of damage on our main line. In fact, I think 3 units of the bombers were destroyed. Not that we're surprised, as it's that's sort of what this army is designed to do. Alright, there we go. Unfortunately, we lost 3 of our units of zombie-powered gunnery mobs. I mean, once again, though we did lose them last time this army fought as well, and this army does still use them as the basic zombie form. The only problem is it's kind of annoying to re-recruit them, because... well, the game doesn't actually count them as basic zombies, even though they are, so it keeps sacrificing them on the front lines and they keep dying, but it has become difficult to regain them, especially when the dead don't rise. 3 dead, 3 don't rise. The enemy had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units arise out of theirs, so... rude. Anyway, I guess we'll take the money rather than assimilate the captives. We should be able to heal up nicely anyway, and we'll need money to get those zombos back up and running if we can manage to pull it off. Alright, enemy killed in battle. Forest Cloak, probably not super useful to us. Maybe we can turn it to something else. And oh, wow, we actually can't raise dead here. It's a little bit unfortunate. This army remains to some degree, but we'll see whether it can escape us as we head back to the sea. And I guess we'll grab a couple of zombos from somewhere here. We might even have Cat Sharp global recruit them in 2 turns, 1, 2, 3, and then just ferry them over. And oh, look at that. We now have rotting leviathans again.
Landfolk are weak.
Deathshriek Terrorgeists. Wait, just one second. They don't. No, they do poison, not fire. I'm just wondering whether we should replace the bombers in this. We could see how animated hulks fare with it, and we can build animated hulks here anyway. You know what? Let's try it with animated hulks rather than all the bombers. We'll do 3 animated hulks to help the front line and see. I'm curious to see how much damage they take from our own corpse gas spears, and while they're not fire damage, I suppose we could in theory convert them to fire damage if we were to be able to get the Banner of Eternal Flame. This is all of course temporary until we can get fire damage from our own allies. One option is War Hydras from the Thousand Maws. While they don't do fire damage directly, War Hydras do have fire breath, fiery breath, which is sort of fire damage. Medusa would fit into... Oh, we can recruit Medusa now, yes. Into a bunch of armies as well. I don't think anybody else here directly does fire damage, though. Doomfire Warlocks. Is it magical fire damage? I feel like it's magical fire damage on them, but the AI can't recruit them as yet, so we'll see. Though, by the looks of it, they're going to tier 5, so we should be able to have access to everything we want out of theirs. Anyway, Noctilus, back to you. You're still, I guess, going to head down here and try to catch Mr. Eltharion. We'll see whether he runs from you or not. And yes, all that just for the 1 defeat trade. And then if we have time to stop anywhere, we'll build a couple of our rotting leviathans. Also, out of curiosity, where are these guys' capital? Wreck of the Desolation, eh? And interestingly, they have no landmarks here anywhere. Okay, well then we can just ignore them, since we don't have a landmark. Ariane Stand, you are headed to Sloppy Crookshank, and if you land close enough to him, he'll attack you directly himself, as we know. Silent Tile, looks like there's some... I was about to say Bretonians here, but it's Empire. Castle Bordelot is nearby with that lovely port, though. And it is something that we may want to occupy despite not being an island. I'll think about it. And just for the port. And hey, Wolfric the Wanderer is nearby as well. Ooh. I wonder if he'll try to go for us here. There's a lot of potential stuff for Harry. Anyway, speaking of, decent likelihood that Harry gets attacked here, so let's get some stuff going for him. Hardened by Death would be great, but these are nowhere near max rank, so we can ignore it for now. I'm guessing we should probably either get Arsonist to buff up the cannons that we have, or... yeah, nothing else would actually help our army. Yeah, probably Arsonist. Probably better than the 8% campaign movement range, just for the little extra bit of damage. Why not? Alright, you too, level up as well. Fog of the Damned is certainly something that we want, but we also will want to get Feed the Fish, or not Feed the Fish, Razor Cutlasses for the bonus melee defense for the zombie pirate boarding crew. And then same to you when you can actually reach it. For now... I guess you want to maybe get a couple points in Nine Hells Dance Macabre. Do we have enough mana to actually cast it multiple times? Probably not. Let's actually make Invocation of the Heck cheaper then instead. And then lastly, Johnny Vole, Sharkbait into Utility Belt, and then the cooldown and number of uses for your bomb chucking. Alright. Trust him on forward. You are stuck where you are for now. Charles the Brine, you are headed towards... I can only remember this shipwreck out here. Assuming no other island has spawned right beside you, and I don't see one, so we're okay. Tuto Zadley, one more turn until she reaches where she needs to go. Burke Black... You just auto-resolve this little army. You should be able to, I'm willing to bet. And if it doesn't let you auto-resolve, you can just... well...
on deck.
Clear War. Kairaz don't bother, these guys will be dead in next turn. Auto-resolve. Just want the free XP and money and whatnot, and raise the place. Alright, can't be keeping beastmen running around anyway. Routing Promethean for Tuto Zadley. Good. All the bonus XP for these guys will mean extra rotting Promethean mounts, as every single hero in this army should damn well be getting. Alright, that looks good to me. Who else still needs to move this turn? Oh, Bones. You are looking towards, moving towards Porta Major.
We will feast.
Don't see any stacks. I wonder where Ruinous' main stack is. I'm a little bit concerned about it because I don't want that particular army to run into it, but I guess we'll see. Charlie Wake, you're going northward.
Overland.
Gotta get to Albion. You got a little bit of a ways to travel, but just deal with it. And then Trusty Montfort. Oh, I already checked you, my bad. I think that's like the 3rd time I checked him this turn. Anyway, Treasure Hunter. Go down, I believe here, unless I'm mistaken. Is it a little bit further? Well, this kind of looks like it. Do not look upon the sorrowful gods, for Oricia's tears fall and swell. The secret you seek shall hide. I don't know. Try. Give it a try.
Time to go.
Alright, Sky Titan, string in. There we go. Great Horde, 10,000. I guess we always get 10,000 regardless of whether it's a great or miserly horde. And... oh, another one came up immediately right up here. And then another one, oh, okay, this one's kind of far, so I guess we'll go back up north and grab this one. Fair enough. The dragon stirs. I take it that means it's the mouth of the river. Treasure.
Captain, on deck.
Keep going this way, I guess, and now, where we found some Bretonnians. I still want to keep an eye on these guys, though, and I do want to double-check a couple of things before we end the turn this time. First of all, diplomacy. Clan Scryer specifically, but let's see if there's anything else interesting. A lot of the orcs want to be friends, probably because we're attacking Bretonnians. They can't trade or anything, though, and if they own coastal settlements, we're probably better off dealing with them. Clan Scryer, Public Order, or this is still rising, though. They don't like the war with the Harbinger of Disaster. It's a little bit unfortunate. Maybe I should have ignored those guys, but oh well. Maybe we should peace out with them. But they don't want peace. Okay, fair enough. I mean, they are beastmen. That kind of does make sense. What about building? Okay, those are expensive and will give us no further money, so we're not going to do those, but we will do the Buccaneers Tavern, the Bullion Coffers, and the Pirate Hall here. And ignore this one... actually, no, build the Growth Building here until it reaches Tier 5. Thanatos Store, we will go for the building here. Sartosa. You can start collecting income now. We're gonna need it. Horde of Booty here, and Pirate Gallows, and I guess we'll need to build a defensive structure here. And Bifardo. Maybe start with the salt pens. Yeah, because this place needs to be able to defend itself to some degree, so it is what it is. Alright, skip the rest of this. Unassigned skill point, garrison, lord not moved, whatever, and then the turn. Let's see where Eltharion goes. Ah, the Salt Lord Scuttlers or whatever did not attack us. That's a little bit surprising, but I guess we can attack them, so it'll make no real difference. Tuto Zadley, journey complete, beautiful. Let's take our tech first of all, first things first. And the tech that we shall be taking this time. I do like the control and stuff. Armor-piercing missile damage, that's all great as well. Do we want 25% armor-piercing missile damage or melee damage? Let's go for melee damage first. We've been doing more range upgrades than melee upgrades, admittedly. I also really want that missile resistance for the flyers, but we're getting everything. I mean, we'll have all the techs completed rather soon. So, yeah, anyway, Noctilus, grab the fell cargo, and then try to move closer to Eltharion. Sail to the right, gotta resolve it. Okay, also give one of these to the Walking Dutchman here. Auto resolve, and take the... you know what, heal up, because we are gonna have to land, and who knows. Alright, and lost cargo. Nice pickup. Very nice pickup indeed. Really good stuff this campaign. Alright, go after Eltharion, and let's just hope he doesn't run away from here. I don't know, and I genuinely don't know whether it would be better to declare war on him now and sit here or wait. No, he actually built an Ethel Tamara Faithbearer. Go figure. Last time I saw him in other campaigns, he wasn't building any, not a single one of his Mistwalkers, and I was very disappointed by that. Anyway, Sloppy Crookshank, you got a piece of 8 for us. Which piece of 8 is it? It is... the Rotting Prometheans. Oh, yes. Yes, please. Is it a gunnery mob or a regular Rotting Promethean? Wait. Let me just see here. It just says Rotting Prometheans. I guess it's a regular one. Go figure. I wonder what it does. I don't even remember. Alright, let's attack this guy. Declare war. And it should be a fun little fight for Ariane stand. In fact, we do have to watch out for those warp fire throwers who, go figure, do magical fire damage. And at 100 armor are a lot more tanky than our own corpse gas spewers. We got Warpstone Scorch on the cannons. I'm just wondering where else we can acquire fire damage for our fire army. I'll have to figure it out. For now, let's fight.
Onwards!
Alright, here we go. The standard combination, or combination of standard carronades and Wraithstorm carronades, is going to get to work on the enemy army to start this battle off, while we sneakily, or at least attempted to sneakily, try to move the bloated corpse in to destroy at least one of the enemy units of Storm Vermin, or something like that. We do summon the Face of Death on top of the enemy Warp Lightning cannons and pretty much destroy them, though it looks like the zombies get wiped out very quick by a combination of the Poison Wind Globadiers and the Warp Fire Throwers as well. That's just fine, though. With Warp Lightning cannons not firing at us, we're a lot safer. Well, at least one of the Warp Lightning cannons not firing at us, and ooh, it looks like the enemy will clip a lot of their own Death Runners with all of those abilities. Although, once again, that does feel lorefully accurate for the Skaven, regardless of how elite those Death Runners are. Anyway, that looks like that has annoyed the enemy to some degree, but it does still appear to be milling around. We do outrange it, unless I'm mistaken, and our artillery is actually positioned up on top of this hill, wherein it can fire upon the enemy, and the enemy seems to have started their own artillery not in the most ideal place. So it does look like they are going to take the time to reposition their single now Warp Lightning cannon to fire upon us, while our units of Wraithstorm carronades and regular I should just say carronades, continue plinking away at them. Alright, I'm going to speed this up a little bit as the enemy army makes its way forward, and there we go. It looks like it is sufficiently annoyed now with the units of Rat Ogres cresting the hill first, and thus becoming the first targets of the various carronades. Let's see if we can knock the Rat Ogres out. Certainly don't want them running around our flank, and we certainly don't want them charging through to our weaker units. Alright, it looks like this unit of Rat Ogres is going to attempt to back up, the fire being too much for them. And it looks like the enemy has decided to attempt to flank us before heading the rest of the army in. I wonder if it is on purpose staying here because it knows that we can't really hit them here with our own artillery. Because this is kind of interesting behavior considering they are still going around our flank. Anyway, I guess we missed it in this particular replay, but not the ghost, the bloated corpse that was sent around the flank there was unfortunately caught by some Rat Ogres which were hiding in the trees, and the bloated corpse exploded, without unfortunately achieving anything. Anyway, the Doom Wheel, by the looks of it, is going to be the same thing. However, it is frostbitten and thus slow, and it is taking shot after shot from the boarding crew. And there we go. With that, the Doom Wheel goes down. And perhaps the enemy Skaven will be annoyed enough to try to envelop our army. Though I gotta wish them luck with it. As in this particular situation, I just don't think it's happening. And there we go, love watching those Wraithstorm carronades fire, an entertaining unit, and by the looks of it, a fairly effective one between the two types of carronades and the Rat Ogres. Both of the units of Rat Ogres are pretty much destroyed. And we'll retarget the Poison Wind Globadiers, assuming that sort of splash damage doesn't kill them in the first place. Which is a distinct possibility here. Poison Wind Globadiers moving up towards the Rat Ogres, but that's alright. As the Rat Ogres will book it, and while the Poison Wind Globadiers are moving in, they probably won't be moving at all too much longer. Alright, and there we go, finally the first of the enemy melee units reach our line. I was about to say, we're just waiting for the enemy to actually get here. And as the clan rats close, they will take shot after shot. All those bullets coming in from the pistols of the boarding crew, and in fact that was enough to have the first unit of rats scurrying. Not to worry, there are plenty more rats, and including some warp fire thrower rats who target our ghost helmsman and a zombie pirate boarding crew, and by the looks of it land a very nice volley which severely damages 2 units and brings them both down to about half HP. Not that that will have indicated a win there. And looks like we're going to respond as our Lord Harry here will respond by himself. And we'll move in to tie up all of those warp fire throwers in order to get them to stop firing away. As we saw, if a single volley will bring down a unit to half HP, 2 volleys would have probably destroyed the unit, so why risk it, right? Alrighty, and by the looks of it, the balance power's at about 90% in our favor now. Sloppy Crookshank truly being sloppy and on a good way in this particular situation, as it is unable to find any kind of purchase. Does look like one of the enemy storm vermin is managing to put up a fight against 1 unit of a boarding crew, but now as the other units no longer need to chase, they can simply fire into the back of the storm vermin, shocking their morale and causing them to rout as well. They manage 40 kills versus the 43 kills on this unit of boarding crew, just slightly stronger. Very nice. Pretty happy with that. And they do have that Midnight Cutlass active. I'm curious, do they have damn Deadlights active or no? Is the 55... Okay, I guess we could just check a healthier unit. No, 55 is their normal melee defense, so that they don't yet, or have not yet activated their higher variant. Anyway, with Sloppy Crookshank's fall, we will get another piece of 8. So let's take a look, shall we? Alright, there we go. Sloppy Crookshank destroyed, the bloated corpse survives, I guess, or at least is brought back, and we're gonna take the money again, I think. A little bit of damage on one of our units, zombie part boarding crew, but otherwise the enemy was by and large overwhelmed by our artillery fire, even if it was only the carronades, which aren't anti-blob in the same way that our other artillery is. So, still good job to them. Yeah, take the money. Take the money, Sloppy Crookshank will back off and we will chase him down as best we can. Willing to bet once we auto-resolve this, the bloated corpse will die this time, but whatever. Hopefully the rest of the army won't be... Half of the ghost helmsmen died because of reasons. We'll heal them up. I don't know why the game keeps doing that, but what can you do? Hey, Rotting Prometheans for everybody, and there we go, the Lamprey's Revenge, Rotting Prometheans. Ooh, I wanted to give that a read, though. Where was that? There we go. Pantaleon was an old knight, Quenelles, where those Bretonnian landlubbers are in cahoots with the elves of the neighboring forest. They say he wore a piece of Athaloran amber around his neck, imbued with powers it was, could even bring life to dead flesh. Sadly, it was lost when the fool sailed to the vampire coast to take on a shoal of Prometheans. Pantaleon slaughtered him, but the crabs eventually dragged him off his ship and pincered him to pieces. But his ship, the Lamprey, survived. Alright, so now... Oh, can't see. I wanted to see what exactly it does. Also, head for the shipwreck, please. And explore the island and auto-resolve it, which will once again probably hurt our ghost pals. Yes, indeed it will, and we're going to have to heal them up as we don't have much of a choice in the matter. See if we get anything nice out of this. Bonuses for fighting at sea and then money and XP. Alright, that's all fine. I would have actually preferred more healing, but it is what it is. We're going to the Silent Isle next. We'll land there and take it. And then probably loop back around for Mr. Wilfric afterwards. I guess we could do it now. This is neutral to sea. This is contested. I think we have to be in the Great Ocean to actually heal, which is kind of annoying, to be perfectly frank, but what can you do? This guy doesn't have a ship, so he's not self-sustaining. Maddie. Noctilus is gonna hang around, Maddie. You're gonna go back and reacquire what other units you're missing, i.e. these animated hulks, at least temporarily. They will serve our purposes. At least I hope. We'll see if her army gets destroyed. Trusty Montfort is fine where he is. Charles the Brine is headed towards this little island, this little shipwreck here. And I think there might have been another one that I saw. For the island not resolve. And take the, I'm gonna say, cash. Alright. Back up to 60k, not bad. Might even be able to build some buildings this time around. Forbidden Rod, actually a very nice find, as those need to go on to most of our lords. And another materials at sea. There we go. Did I not see an island here? Maybe I did not. Okay, well then, I land at Ignis Island, and we'll see what happens next turn. We'll look around again, because they do respawn, but they may also be spawning in other territories very, very far from us. And if there isn't one nearby, you're just going to have to sit and wait. Alrighty, who's up next? Tuto Zadley, you have arrived, and there are two islands near you. Perfection. This is a mysterious island, and they're both mysterious islands. Now, you will want to go... Mangrove Port. We could declare war upon these guys and then immediately... No, they don't hate us, though. But we do have bonuses with Arcan. Oh, wow, they've got 11 territories, so all of this is theirs. Could set up some some coves here, although they probably don't make much in the way of money. I wanted you to set up at the Black Field here, at the oil rigs. It will take a while to get there. It might be nice to try the army out at least. While we're here. First, start by grabbing the mysterious island, however, that hasn't changed, and aggression, and might as well full speed stance and grab this one as well. Mathland's Blessing, and then we'll head to Mangrove Port, I guess, and just because we can. Mushroom Stew, and go here. Alrighty, and you're stuck as you are, we will set up a cove afterwards. And we'll see how long we stay on this particular coastline. And Burke Black, you are going to go ahead and raise Al Dente. And then this is still Sartozan territory, indeed it is. Sartozans are really not going to like us. And oh, what the heck, it hurt our big crabs, and not the little crabs. It's a little bit odd. But oh well, raise the place. Money and moonshine. That's what we like. And hello. This gives us healing. This is a healing potion equivalent. Interesting. Loss of flame resistance, but a big ol' heal. Interesting. Alright, Merc Black going to encamp stance, and oh, right. So, no, these are gunnery mobs. That wasn't crazy. That's why I got 5 of these. I got 5 of them originally assuming that it was a Rotting Promethean gunnery mob, and then I saw it might have not been, but then it turns out that it is, so I don't know what the heck. Anyway, I guess you'll get rid of one of these. And you can't do it in foreign territory, so that was a waste. Why did you show it to me, game? How dare you? Really, you can't in foreign territory when you have access to ship game? Come on, man. Alright, well, either way, you... I was about to say are going to build stuff. You know what? I'll deal with it between the episodes, because we have to transfer the what's-his-face. You know the what's-his-face? You know. I'm a little bit concerned about this. If we land here and auto-resolve, will you immediately get attacked by this guy and then get killed? I guess you're immortal, so it doesn't matter other than the annoyance of losing Queen Bess. Potentially. I guess we'll see. You know what? Screw Cackle Fruit, let's get all hands fire. We will still land here. And we will raise it. Wait, what did I just see? Okay, no, I thought that was another stack, but we might be okay. I ought to resolve this. So grab the whole banner of militia for Queen Bess. And yeah, that's a lot of damage to the Necrophexes. But we're going to have to expect that from this particular army in auto-resolves, though, which is a little bit annoying. Raise the place and keep the enchanted shield for now. And we'll see if these guys decide to attack us. We're not at war with them, technically. And you're not healing. Maybe I should have just taken that to heal up and then abandoned it afterwards instead of looking for... let's get Tide Call. Or Fog of the Damned. Let's get Tide Call. Anyway, instead of looking for more infamy, you can have Cackle Fruit, and we'll get Enchanted Ballistics after, and we'll still keep an eye on getting another one of these up and running, another Gunnery White. In fact, I should probably check this turn. And go for Officer's Cabin while you're at it. And, oh, actually, I want to reduce the costs. Alright, I'll deal with that between the episodes. Charlie, you're still going north, ain't ya? Alright, well, you got a long way to go, so keep on going. Treasure Hunter, you are now moving up north to grab the other treasure thing. Regular treasure, how long? 6 turns until you can set up a cove. Indiana Groans, you can set up a cove at any time, but you're going to have to keep an eye on Eltharion until we're ready for you to move elsewhere. Building. See if there's anything important, or at the very least anything that we want to build. But it doesn't look like it. In the sense that I don't want to waste too much money because we got to be careful with our cash now. We will, however, build a pirate hall here, and I guess another one of the growth buildings, at least temporarily. So, not back alleys, but Tree and Noose, and then Sartosa, yes, defenses, yes, upgrade the tier. And there we go. Alright, with that, folks, I think I'm going to call the episode here, as I want to build up the rest of these, and that means swapping around the ship's carpenter to reduce the costs and whatnot. And next time, we'll try to hunt down Eltharion the Grim to get his defeat rate, and then move up the coastline with Noctilus. There are 2 pieces of 8 down here, and probably plenty of ports to be getting along with. Might have to send Burke Black briefly to our own territory to reacquire what he needs, or to get at a regiment of renown of his. Then we could even keep him there for a few turns while he recruits the crabs via global recruitment, though that's going to take a long time. I might ignore it. I don't know. I'll see. Maddie will reacquire some units in the form of these animated hulks and then move... I mean, I guess Noctis can go up one part of the coast and then Maddie can go up the other, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. And then, of course, we will need to try to take Silent Isle with Airy, and... maybe it's about time we start that journey to Albion, as it's going to be a long time, and Charlie Wake will move in. I mean, ideally they'll travel together and land at the same time, so that they can work together to take it, as one army probably can't defend what said army takes, but I guess we'll see. Anyway, more Noctilus to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially to Threshold for the longer episodes. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.